the squad news, please. There's quite a bit to get through as well. First of all, Alisson, how ready is he to return, and how careful have you got to be with him, given he's had these injuries before?
We're careful with everyone, especially when it comes to muscle injuries. But he's back in training with the goalkeeper coach. He's not training with the team yet, but that is expected to be done soon. And then let's wait and see where he is in terms of match fitness. But he's getting better and better, but not ready to play Sunday.
Trent, Virgil, Jota, Harvey Elliott and Chiesa, how are they as well?
When you started with Trent and Virgil, I was expecting a different question. But, so do it one more. Do it one more time. Trent first.
Trent first of all. Then there's Virgil. Obviously, he was sent back on medical grounds. Jota, we knew was due back round about this time-ish. Harvey Elliott as well, and Chiesa.
Yeah, Virgil is all good. He's training with us today. Trent isn't training with us yet, but he's getting there, so we expect him to be back with us soon. Then we've got, there were so many names. Harvey is training with us again, so that's the positive thing. He's been out for many weeks, but he's on a training round again with the team, so that's a positive thing for him. Jota is still apart from the group, same as Federico, who's coming back into the session maybe in one exercise today, so they are all expected to be back within now and a few weeks. But yeah, the last part of recovery is always the most difficult one, so let's wait and see. But Virgil is completely okay. Did I forget anyone? No? Okay.
Obviously 5 points clear at the top of the table at the moment. That can swing very quickly, in theory at least anyway, particularly when you've got Manchester City to come in the next 2 league games as well. So how much do you enjoy the position that you're in, leading from the front now?
Yeah, it would be a bit strange if I would tell you that I'm not enjoying being in the position we are in now, but we also understand that it's only 11 games now. Yeah. So that's a lot of games have to be played, and we all know that the teams we face in this league, they are able to have the same run of games as we have. So if we want to stay where we are, we have to keep bringing the results in, which is not going to be easy starting on Sunday. Although everybody maybe feels like, okay, they are bottom of the league at the moment, but they don't play at all like this. They made it very difficult for the teams that are top 3, top 4, top 5. Their playing style is very interesting. It was a joy to watch their games, because they have a very interesting and nice way of playing. So it's going to be a difficult one, especially after the international break, which is always a difficult one for everyone. And the first 2 times we played at home, now we play away. So another challenge. Yeah, like we said, we like to be where we are, and if we want to stay there, we have to keep on winning games.
Can I just ask you as well how you view the long-term challenge now as well, now that we know that Pep Guardiola is going to be sticking around at Manchester City for another couple of years?
Yeah, that's good news for City, first of all, and also good news for the league, because I think everybody wants to have the best managers possible around over here, the best players over here, and he's definitely one of the best managers, maybe the best manager of the league. So if you look at what he did in the last few years, 4 times champions in a row, I think. Yeah, so it's fair to say that he's maybe the best manager in the league. So that is a good thing. But on the other hand, they have so many quality players that if he would have made the choice to leave the club, I wouldn't have expected them to end up bottom of the league next season. So, but yeah, good for the City fans, and interesting for us as managers to keep on facing one of the best managers football has ever had.
Excellent. Hi, morning. You've got an incredible run of fixtures coming up, Real Madrid, City, other games as well. Will that have any impact on your team selection at Southampton this week?
We indeed have an incredible fixture list coming up, starting with Southampton. And that is always by far the most important game. And if you want to enjoy, or you want to go into the games, the other 2 you just mentioned, it's the best thing you can do is always with a win. So it has no effect at all to my team selections, the other 2 games. But what does have an effect is the playing style of Southampton, the players coming back from South America, how fit are they, the injuries that we have, the players that are coming back. So that is the only thing that has something to do with the team selection, not at all the games that come afterwards.
You mentioned before it's top against bottom in the Premier League, but does the strength of the Premier League show that Southampton could still be a capable team?
I would say much more than a capable team. I think I've seen them already playing against City, against Arsenal, and against Wolves. Those are 3 games I've seen already, and with 2 more days coming up, I probably see 1 or 2 more. And they've shown that they are very, very capable of playing teams like us. I think it was against United where they had a penalty first. So they've been, in my opinion, a bit unlucky, but their playing style has been excellent, and they've been into almost every game. They could have got a result in almost every game they've played. So I know everybody is looking at that Madrid and City is difficult, but in my opinion, Southampton is going to be a difficult one as well. Right.
Arne, we've had the last international break of the calendar year. When the players come back, what are the sort of different factors that govern your selection process in terms of, obviously if players pick up knocks they can't play, but do you speak to the players? Is it down to the medical staff? Do you make your own assessment? Well, how does it all work out to sort of facilitate what would be your starting 11?
It's a bit of everything you just said. So you talk to the players, you want to hear from the medical and the performance staff what they feel about it, then you listen to your own technical staff, and then you look at the opponent you play and see what is the best team to select. So it's a bit of everything, but that's not different to any other game. The only difference there is now is that you always wonder how the players that have played in South America, how they come back with normally a jet lag as well. That's the only difference maybe between team selection. What is the only different argument in the team selection now than for all the other games, because in all the other games you also look at the players, get the information from your staff members and look at the opponent.
Ibrahimovic is probably enjoying the best spell of his Liverpool career, not just in terms of his form in matches, but injury-wise. Because in the past he's had problems with injuries. He didn't make your first starting lineup, but he's been in pole position pretty much since then. How have you enabled him to become more consistent and to be, the player that he's been one of your star performers this season?
Yeah. First of all, it's always about the player. How much effort does he put in to stay fit? And then second of all, you've got a performance staff and a technical staff to do the best possible thing for him to keep him fit. But if the player doesn't buy in himself, it's almost impossible for us to keep him fit. But we have our ideas about how to keep a player fit, and he bought into that. So till now, that has gone really well for him, but for a lot of players till now. The first game he didn't play, and there was a reason for that, because if you look back at our pre-season games, that weren't his best games at the moment. But to be fair to him, he came back like so many others quite late because of the tournament. We were already training for a few weeks. Jarell did really well in pre-season, so I thought it was, in my opinion, logical decision to play Jarell. But at halftime, I think I made the decision that we needed Ibu, and the reason why he went from the United game, which was his first one after him not playing for a long time, because he didn't play at the Euros, and in the end phase of the season he didn't play for Liverpool as well. So, but he not only bought into getting fit and do everything for this, but every time we had a meeting with him, it was. Yeah, I wouldn't maybe not do justice to all of the players, but he was the one that I could just see that he wanted to learn, wanted to listen, and wanted to improve, and that's what he did, in my opinion, and that's why his improvement compared to the first game he played in pre-season till the first game he played at Ipswich was already a massive difference.
Rob? Arne, just picking up on Southampton table. Just wondering, have you ever had to implement your style differently depending on different levels you've worked at, different types of players, groups of players that you've worked with?
Yeah, in general, I think I was very fortunate that I mostly worked at teams that were expected to be top of the table. So I've worked at different levels, but at those levels, these teams were expected to play in the top of the table. But yeah, I started off with the under 14, where we lost in the first half of the season almost every game, and we just trying to play the same style as we try to do now at Liverpool, and that we worked our way up during that season. So yeah, I think I've worked at different levels, but mostly top of the league.
And what have you learned off the back of the two matches after international breaks, Forest and Chelsea, that you'll take into Southampton, as you've already mentioned, a unique, different challenge of being away from home for starters?
Yeah, but last time I said before the Chelsea game that I'm not so worried or think that much about the first game after the international break. My main worry is always the game plan of our opponent and the style they play. That makes a game difficult. I don't think that back then against Chelsea it was also about the time we started the game, was the early kickoff. It's that can have a bit of influence on the game, but most influence always has our own game plan, our own intensity we play with compared to the team we face and their game plan, and that is always the biggest challenge there is, and all the other things are only small or smaller details than the ones I just mentioned.
Any more for the breakouts?
Arne, just on Trent and Alisson and Jota, do you think they would have any chance for either Real Madrid or the Man City games?
That is something we have to wait and see, because I just said that the last few days of a recovery is always the one that is most tricky, because then they have to go from isolated training sessions towards a group training session, and that step is always the most difficult one. So for me it's difficult to judge now and to tell you now it's going to be 1, 2, 3 days or a bit longer. So the only thing I can say is that with Alisson and with Jota, I don't expect them to be available for that game. With Trent, it's going to be in between.
And just with Harvey, you know, frustrating start to the season. His game time was limited. Then he suffered the broken foot in his bone in his foot. How much of a boost is it to have him back around, especially with the schedule you've got in the next 6-7 weeks?
We always want all of our players available, and it was a blow for him and for us that he got injured for such a long time, because I think he's been out for 3 months now. Now we also have to give him time to come back to his normal level, because I just spoke about Konate that was out from playing football for maybe 2, 3 or 4 months, because he didn't play in the end of the season and didn't play in the Euros, and then that, as a result of that, his first game against Man United in pre-season wasn't his best. That is something which is completely normal for a football player, and this is something we have to take in consideration with Harvey as well. Yes, he's training with us again, but that's different than being on the top of your game immediately again, so we have to give him time for this as well. But I'm very fortunate that he's back, especially with the amount of games that coming up in the upcoming 2 or 3 or 4 months.
Hi, I wanted to ask you a little bit about set pieces. You've actually scored as many goals from opponents' set pieces as from your own in the league this season. And you're coming up against a Southampton side who conceded a third of their goals from set pieces. So, considering the great delivery you can call on the team, like Tsimikas and Robertson, 2 aerial dominant centre-backs in Konate and Van Dijk, and a pair of 6-foot forwards in Gakpo and Nunes, do you think this is an area you're looking to improve on?
You like data, don't you?
I do.
And last time you were the one that was telling me that we had 15 players in for the national team. How was it this time?
A few less.
A few less, yeah. But again, by far the most.
I was on par with everybody else.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, set pieces is something every team, every club at so many leagues at the moment is taking really serious. So that's what we do as well. I think we have great delivery. We have some players that can that are already quite tall and can jump really high. So Yeah, we're trying to get the best out of that part as well, because I always say if a game is tight, a set piece can make a massive difference for you. And that's what we know, what we understand. What we do like till now is that we haven't conceded much in terms of set pieces, and that's also an important thing. So if we can score a bit more and keep the same and not conceding, then we're in a good place.
Thank you everyone for taking up.
You're welcome.
Thank you.